As Jamal Carter, a composed and impeccably dressed black man, entered Fairhill National Bank, the patrons were unaware of his hidden identity as a billionaire CEO. The bank manager glanced at him and instructed him to wait for a complete 2 hours. The staff murmured quietly, customers gazed intently, a few even chuckled. However, they were all unprepared for Jamal's next move. In mere moments, the whole bank would be enveloped in a profound hush. In the end, his name would be etched in everyone's memory. Before we dive in, please give this video a thumbs up and share your location in the comments. Your support enables us to share more impactful narratives. Let us commence. The morning sun poured through the expansive glass windows of Fairhill National Bank, illuminating the polished floors with a gentle warmth. Clients in polished attire moved with purpose, eagerly anticipating their turn to be attended to. A tall black man in his late 40s stood among them. He was known as Jamal Carter. He donned a sharp navy blue suit, exquisite leather shoes, and a silver watch that sparkled subtly beneath his cuff. Even with his composed exterior, he found himself overlooked, and certainly not by chance. As he neared the front desk, the receptionist remained oblivious, her gaze fixed elsewhere. Jamal gently cleared his throat and remarked, "Excuse me, I am here to speak with the branch manager." The young woman at the desk finally raised her gaze, her eyes briefly assessing him. Her voice lacked any inflection. "Do you have a scheduled meeting?" "No, but I trust that once he understands my purpose, he will be eager to meet me," Jamal responded, keeping a calm smile. She gave a curt, dismissive nod. "Kindly have a seat. The manager has a packed schedule today." Jamal strolled toward the seating area, oblivious to the murmurs that started to rise behind him. "Who does he believe he is?" whispered one teller to another. "I'm sure he's here for a loan," another one said with a smirk. "There's no chance they'll go for that," someone else laughed. The manager, Craig Whitmore, peered through the transparent walls of his office, caught sight of Jamal, and furrowed his brow. "Did he express his desires?" he inquired with the receptionist. "Number mentioned that he wanted to have a conversation with you. No scheduled meeting." "Then he can wait," Craig retorted sharply. "Today I'm working with actual clients." Time slipped away, first in minutes, then in hours, until 2 had passed. Jamal sat still, exuding calm and composure, yet the gaze of others weighed heavily upon him, filled with judgment, skepticism, and mockery. He unlocked his phone, composed a brief message, and then set it face down next to him. A young boy approached him and inquired with a sense of innocence, "Mister, do you find yourself lacking in resources?" The question hung in the air, leaving the room enveloped in silence. Jamal let out a gentle laugh. "No, I'm not, my friend, but I appreciate your inquiry." The mother hurried to her son, her face flushed with apologies as she pulled him away, mortified. The bank employees kept chuckling softly. At long last, Craig emerged from his office and made his way over. "Sir," he said, his voice sharp and precise, "today is quite a hectic day for us. If you don't have an appointment, I recommend returning." At a later time, Jamal rose to his feet with deliberate slowness. His gaze locked onto Craig's, serene yet brimming with unspoken strength. "I comprehend. I guess I'll reach out to your regional director, or maybe even the corporate board. This branch's approach to clients who arrive without appointments could pique their interest." Craig blinked, momentarily taken aback. "Beg your pardon?" In that instant, the glass door swung wide. 2 impeccably attired gentlemen in dark suits entered, with purpose, their badges glinting momentarily beneath their coats. One leaned toward Craig and inquired, "Are you the branch manager?" "Excellent. Mr. Carter is prepared to move forward. We recommend that you collaborate without delay." All were momentarily paralyzed. Jamal meticulously adjusted his cufflinks, offering Craig a subtle smile that hinted at unspoken thoughts. "Shall we proceed from here?" The whole bank stood in shocked silence as Craig's face drained of color, grasping that something monumental had just unfolded, leaving him unaware of the depths it would reach. As the 2 men spoke to Craig, the entire ambience within the bank transformed. The conversation ceased. Devices were brought down. All patrons, all staff, and every murmur dissolved into quietude. Jamal remained composed, exuding an air of tranquility, while the manager appeared utterly bewildered, as if confronted by a specter. Mr. Carter has been waiting with great patience, the taller of the two men remarked, his tone straightforward, his demeanor authoritative. A grave error has been committed, Craig stammered. Hold on, what's happening here? May I ask who you are? The second man advanced, presenting an ID badge that displayed the name Elliot Monroe, Executive Compliance Officer, Federal Oversight, Division. He softened his tone. Prepare to uncover the true identity of Mr. Carter. Jamal surveyed his surroundings with a deliberate slowness, his gaze finally meeting that of the receptionist who had brushed him off before. Her complexion had turned ashen. She averted her gaze swiftly, feigning an interest in non-existent documents scattered before her. The murmurs of the tellers faded into silence. Even the security guard, who had been slouched against the wall, now stood tall, vigilant, bewildered. Craig's voice wavered. I had no idea. That is the issue, Elliot responded. You made an assumption. That assumption is on the verge of costing this branch far more than you could ever conceive. Jamal finally articulated his thoughts, his tone unwavering and precise. I provided your team with a straightforward opportunity. Lasting 2 hours, that is ample time for any expert to demonstrate respect to a client. Yet I found myself evaluated solely on my looks. I experienced a profound sense of embarrassment in the presence of your whole team and clientele. Craig appeared as if he wished the ground would just open up and engulf him entirely. I sincerely apologize, Mr. Carter. I had no clue you held such significance. Jamal's gaze sharpened. Each individual holds significance. Since you're looking for titles, I'll provide one for you. I hold a significant yet understated stake in Fairhill National's parent corporation. I possess 47% of the voting power on the board. What that signifies is, when I enter any of my banks, I anticipate the same respect afforded to a gentleman in a tailored suit with an impressive title. Echoes of gaffes reverberated through the lobby. Devices nestled into their pockets, jaws dropped. In astonishment, Denise, one of the senior tellers, placed her hand over her chest. Oh my goodness, she murmured. Jamal pressed on. I arrived unexpectedly for a purpose. I was curious about how your team interacts with everyday individuals. Not VIPs, not executives, just ordinary people who deserve respect. What I witnessed today? Disregard, bias, and inadequacy. The two compliance officers positioned themselves next to Jamal, offering a nod of acknowledgement. We will initiate a comprehensive audit of this branch, Elliot stated, effective immediately. This encompasses staff conduct, training on biases, evaluations of customer service, and assessments of leadership effectiveness. Craig attempted to speak up, but Jamal lifted a hand to silence him. Your words have reached their limit. It's time for you to pay attention. All were immobilized in place. A few customers were capturing the moment. A few employees appeared on the verge of tears. The atmosphere within the bank crackled with a palpable tension, charged with shock and fear. Jamal then pivoted and strode past the front desk, moving through the glass doors of the branch manager's office. He took it upon himself without seeking approval. He just walked right in. The two men trailed after him, shutting the door firmly as they entered. Craig remained motionless, thoughts swirling in his head. Outside the office, a hush enveloped the surroundings once more. Profound, weighty, and unequivocal. Within the confines of the branch manager's office, Jamal positioned himself by the window, silently watching the bustling activities of the bank unfold beneath him. He stood with a serene demeanor, yet his gaze was keen and analytical. The two executives who were with him stayed quiet, looking to him for direction. Craig stepped in last, his gait faltering, the burden of shame heavy upon him. He was completely unaware of how an ordinary Tuesday had spiraled into a pivotal catastrophe for his career. Jamal pivoted with deliberate slowness. Craig, please share your thoughts with me sincerely. When I entered earlier, before you recognized me, what did you observe? Craig paused, then whispered under his breath. I noticed an individual who seemed to belong nowhere. Jamal arched an eyebrow. Feeling like you don't belong. A gentleman poised in a business lobby, impeccably attired, holding documents with a sense of purpose, feeling out of sorts. Craig hesitated in his speech. I merely took it for granted. That is the issue. Jamal interjected. You made an assumption. Considering my complexion? According to my attire, grounded in emptiness? You encountered an individual who did not align with your preconceived notions of achievement. Craig averted his gaze. Indeed, Mr. Carter, you are correct. I did not succeed. Jamal made his way to the heart of the room. Are you aware of what the most challenging aspect is? This isn't centered on my experience. I will be okay. I possess strength. I possess a certain sway. What about the countless customers who enter your branch each year without power? What about the diligent single mother striving to establish a savings account? Or the elderly man cashing his pension check who is overlooked because he doesn't don an expensive suit? Craig lifted his gaze, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. It was never my intention to cause any pain. Intent holds no significance, Jamal stated with conviction. Influence does. Listen, Craig, I was raised in East Baltimore. My mother held down 2 jobs. I donned pre-loved garments. I was informed that I would never succeed beyond community college. Yet, I put in a great deal of effort. I put in more effort into my studies. Upon reaching my first million, I chose not to celebrate. I put my resources back in. Upon reaching 10 million, I began investing in banks, driven by a desire for individuals like myself to feel acknowledged. Craig felt a lump in his throat, the weight of guilt intensifying with each passing word. Jamal. Pressed on, his voice resonating with a subtle strength. Today I entered your branch unexpectedly to assess whether my vision was being upheld. What I discovered was an issue with the culture, a crisis in customer service, and a breakdown in leadership. The door creaked open. A woman stepped inside, clad in a sharp navy suit. Without uttering a single word, she passed Jamal a folder. He carefully opened it, examined the papers, and gave a thoughtful nod. This, Jamal declared, lifting the folder, is a formal recommendation for immediate restructuring of branch leadership. The name you bear is prominently displayed at the top. Craig's jaw fell open in astonishment. Are you letting me go? Jamal shook his head. No, he said. You are being assigned to a 2-month program focused on improving your understanding of ethical banking and equity practices. Upon successful completion, you will be reassigned to a lower-level branch located in another city. Should you stumble, your journey in this field concludes. Craig remained frozen, in disbelief. Jamal shifted his gaze back to the window. Our focus is not on administering punishment. We specialize in the art of transformation. Yet, true transformation begins with a foundation of humility. Craig nodded slowly, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. I appreciate the opportunity to try again. Jamal remained silent. He gazed outward, observing the customers as they resumed their activities, and the employees hurried to bring everything back to order. Yet, all had transformed. A message had been conveyed, and the consequences were only starting to unfold. Outside the manager's office, whispers spread rapidly, igniting curiosity throughout the polished, climate-controlled bank. Workers who once laughed now sat rigidly at their stations, feigning productivity while casting furtive looks at the shut door. The precise events unfolding within remained a mystery, yet the change in ambience was unmistakable. Every spirit within those walls could sense it. The equilibrium of authority had shifted. At the front desk, Melissa, the same teller who had chuckled earlier, fidgeted with her blazer anxiously. Her hands shook slightly as she passed a receipt to the customer. The image of the old man standing there quietly, subjected to mockery, lingered in her mind, refusing to fade away. It echoed in her thoughts like a malfunctioning tune. It felt different now, almost eerie. In an unexpected moment, the door swung open. Jamal Carter emerged, standing tall and poised, accompanied by his aides. Craig trailed behind, his eyes glistening. With unshed tears, his complexion wan and his shoulders slumped more than ever. Silence enveloped the room. No one had the courage. Jamal surveyed his surroundings with a deliberate slowness, absorbing the details of each employee, every desk and all the hallways. He strolled into the heart of the floor, where the main lobby unfolded before him. With "A calm yet commanding presence," he requested. "May I have everyone's attention for just a few moments?" Each chair emitted a squeak as the employees rose to their feet. Devices were set to silent mode. The chatter ceased abruptly. Jamal's voice resonated with a serene strength. "Many of you might be curious about my identity. I am Jamal Carter. I hold the majority stake in the parent company of this bank. This morning I arrived dressed in a unique outfit, with a well-loved bag in hand, and my words were few. I felt like an inconvenience." A wave of energy swept across the gathering. Jamal took a moment to let it sink in. He pressed on. "I entered this branch with the expectation of encountering understanding, dignity, and a high standard of conduct. I hope to witness compassion for those we don't know, as every individual entering this bank should feel appreciated. That is the essence of what banking should embody. Instead, I was met with smirks. I perceived murmurs. I witnessed judgment lacking justification. A number of employees cast their eyes downward, their expressions flushed with shame. "I am not here to let anyone go today," Jamal stated, his voice unwavering. "That might be simple, but I have no desire for simplicity. I am curious about what is just. Beginning tomorrow, this branch will embark on a comprehensive cultural transformation. Empathy training will be conducted. Each member of the team will be assessed based on their interactions with every individual, regardless of appearance, attire, or belongings." A hand was raised from the back. It was Melissa. Her voice wavered just a bit as she spoke. "Mr. Carter, what if someone aspires to improve, truly transform?" Jamal gave a slow, deliberate nod. "With that, they will possess all the resources needed for success. We do not penalize individuals for unintentional errors, but we will not accept deliberate disrespect. Embracing growth is essential. Arrogance is absent." The room fell into silence once more, and then, unexpectedly, a gentle round of applause began, originating from one corner and spreading to another until the whole staff was on their feet, clapping, not out of obligation, but because they sensed a change, something profound beyond mere policy. It felt as though the essence of the branch had been roused from slumber. At that moment, a young boy entered through the glass doors. He appeared to be no older than 10, grasping his mother's hand. The mother felt a flutter of anxiety, her eyes darting about the surroundings. She donned a weathered jacket and clutched a folder filled with papers. One of the employees hurried to the front, this time sporting a broad, inviting smile. "Greetings of the day. What can I assist you with today?" Jamal began to walk away but hesitated, captivated by the unfolding drama before him. That was the reason for his visit. That marked the dawn of something genuine.